Ladies and gents, this is Rex and this is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline. Review Final Night's Edition trademark by the channel ssethtzeentach. Man turns to S, but this game stays immortal. Alright? People have been telling me to do the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline thing. I guess this is gonna be incredible. Something about vampires. So yeah, all the Seth's reviews are incredible because he does not care what he says, which I didn't know it was possible with big creators, right? They have to tiptoe, otherwise YouTube gets angry. So yeah, so Seth doesn't care. It's always awesome to see. So let's watch this one. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe. Check out the reaction, there's a link in the description. Check out the cards if playing cards in here. Let's watch it.
Hey people, Seth here. Tonight I'll be covering one of my favorite RPGs, a cult classic that brings you back no matter how many times you finished it. Do you love shopping at Hot Topic? Do you hate natural sunlight? Have you ever wanted to suck off the homeless? If you answered yes to any of those, then I know exactly the game for you. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, released in 2004 by Troika Games. Bloodlines takes place in modern day LA, but our story begins in the Old Testament. So, to understand the lore, I'll need you all to whip out your Bibles and flip to Genesis 4. Remember Cain and Abel? In the Bible, the two brothers made offerings to God. Abel offered the Lord some lamb chops. Cain gave him some Weetabix or some shit. Naturally, God liked Abel's offer a lot more. So Cain disabled his brother by murdering him with a fucking rock. God was very unhappy with Cain for killing his brother. Nah, God doesn't give a shit. Cain's crime was murdering his brother and then having the audacity to lie to God. In the Bible, God punishes Cain to wander the earth. In Vampire the Masquerade, God punishes Cain by giving him superpowers. Cain.
Alright, seriously. That's his voices. Seriously, Seth needs to create, I guess, I don't know, some Old Testament, videos where he, I guess, narrates how the book goes. Because this portion alone about the Cain and Abel was incredible.
For crimes against your creator and your fellow man, I sentence you to immortality. I'm also giving you super speed and super strength. You can also turn invisible. Would you like to polymorph as well? Sometimes I like to turn into a burning bush and scare the shit out of Moses.
Anyway, God turns Cain into the first vampire. The only downside? He can't walk in the light and he has to drink the blood of others to survive. God's true punishment is giving Cain the ability to sire children. But with immortality, the only thing left to fear is death itself. That fear becomes paranoia, jealousy, hatred, not for humans, but for your own kind. And that fear ends up consuming you. Just as Cain murdered his brother, he is now forced to watch for all eternity as generations of his own children murder each other. Where do you come into all of this? You're a random schmuck who gets embraced against your will in a seedy LA hotel. When you wake up, you're a vampire. But before you get comfortable, the Camarilla boys break in, stake for both of you, and ship you off to Vampire Court. Turns
I know this is not a funny game, but animation is making it one. That is incredible.
out, siring vampires without permission is a big no-no and a violation of a masquerade, which is basically a loose set of rules to keep mortals from finding out about the supernatural, and from realizing that Vladimir Tepes was, in fact, a high-level Tsimisi who turned Romanians into dining chairs, because if humans ever found out, that's a guaranteed death sentence for every vampire on Earth. The judges make their verdict. Your sire gets decapitated by Magilla Gorilla, the African muscle man behind Sebastian LaCroix, Camarilla Prince of LA. And you're next on the chopping block. Oh well, at least you got laid. However, Nines Rodriguez, leader of the LA Anarchs, protests against your immediate execution. Suddenly struck with a flood of emotion and newfound empathy, LaCroix decides to spare you your life. Instead, he sends you off on a suicide mission to get killed somewhere else. Clueless and alone, you're thrown into this game as an unwilling pawn in a world of darkness.
What? Oh, man. And you're a goddamn Malkavian, too. Wow. You really are fucked.
But as with any chess game, if you underestimate the pawn, you've already lost. Survive, understand, and identify the other pieces on your board. Once you do, you'll have to make a choice between being a player and being a pawn. And I should warn you, a pawn is always sacrificed to protect the king. Before you start, you have to pick your clan. There are 7 to choose from. They're generally very interesting and offer unique approaches to the game. Bruja and Gangrels are hobos and furries, respectively. They're very hot-tempered and have poor impulse control. Tremere can do this. They're basically undead blood mages. Toreador are the very definition of vampire sluts. Being a room temperature piece of ass does have its advantages though, and lets you get what you want without conflict. Ventru are like vampire
That Donald Trump
advantages
thing.
though, and lets you get what you want without conflict. Ventru
This image is... Alright, there's an actual build that says slut. Okay.
are like vampire aristocracy. Basically, they're assholes who think they're too good for sucking off a homeless. Don't say that to their face though, or you might find your neck snapped. Nosferatu are hideously deformed. Women ignore you or call the police when they see your face.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, a bit. Lord! Oh, sweet Jesus!
Did she have a heart attack?
Damn, man! Don't be sneaking up on a brother with your crackhead skin disease test tube baby looking ass! Damn near shit my pants! I don't sell no soap, so what the hell you want?
So, really, no different from being alive. Malkavians are bad
I love that build, man. Fuck it, let's just walk around the city and scare the shit out. Did she actually had a heart attack and fell down?
at shit insane. Their curse makes them unhinged, unstable, and even worse, completely lucid and prophetic. They can also spread this insanity to others. As a result, they've got some of the best interactions and dialogue options in the entire game. Which may or may not entire game.
You must be hungry, Grizzly. But look, your friends are salmon. Oh, see, made him, think that.
Which may or may not include talking to stop signs and being interrogated by your own television.
And that the source of the detonation possibly came from you. Hey, heard anything?
This is
Kind of
incredible.
It's no small secret that Clan Malkavian is my favorite.
Do you remember Fallout New Vegas is, I don't know what was the intimidation perk that you have? That gives you ridiculous amount of dialogues, right? That scare the shit out of everybody. Every dialogue sometimes, it pops up the, space. I don't remember what was the name of the trait was. Something the name of the trait. If you say it, people piss their pants and just runs away. This is similar to that in this build. Talking to the fucking TVs is awesome.
If it's your first time playing Bloodlines, I recommend playing any clan which isn't Malkavian or Nosferatu. Why? Because the Madness Network isn't random. It's foreshadowing. It's knowledge you know but shouldn't. And all of these revelations will go over your head when you can't make sense of it. Also, getting spotted out in the open is an instant Masquerade violation for Nosferatu, which can result in your immediate death. It's better for seasoned players who already know who and where everyone and everything is. Also, I hope you like sewers, because you're gonna be seeing a lot of sewers as a Nosferatu. Hope you packed snacks. But why would I play this old-ass game a second time, Seth? I got a lot of stuff to do. I got a reading to catch up on. Because, you goddamn zoomer, the game isn't very long. Length isn't the point of it. It's the choices you make. And there's a lot of different choices you can take depending on your character, which come back to help or haunt you in the future. It's a very well contained and believable world that never breaks your suspension of disbelief. You might be turned off by the vampires, and to tell the truth, I was too. So was my mom, and now she's probably finished the game more times than me, because this game isn't about vampires, the undead, or the supernatural. It's about humans, and regardless of whether they're mortal or damned flesh, they all act, think, and feel human. They've got real fears, hopes, and motivations which drive their character. Every single character, no matter how central or insignificant they are to the plot, are written fantastically well. And that's the main praise you hear for this game. The story and the dialogue, which has some goddamn amazing voice acting.
I am the proprietor and salesman of the month several years in a row. The ladies call me, oh God, but you can call me Fat Larry with a F-A-T, cause I know I got a weight problem, I just don't give a fuck.
I see your face is not so lifeless. Your nerves not so deadened that you cannot express shock. Tell me, child, is my appearance that frightening? Or is it my knowledge of you that is so unnerving?
Hey! Welcome Welcome to Seng's Herbal Remedies. I am Seng. How may I assist you? Selling remedies is honest work. I came to America after discharge from Chinese Herbal Remedies forces to help aging parents restore. Definitely, I am now American citizen. God bless the allegiance flag. Chinese invented gunpowder. Yes, I know guns. Hold on, please. These are good remedies for many problems. No credit cards.
Kids don't
These are good remedies for many problems. Those guns there. God, seriously, the voice is incredible. How lots of AAA games, right? I mean, people who have massive budget, right? Ask these different people to voice act, and all those people just sounds weird. Like they don't even know what the context is, like what's supposed to be the scene and how to voice act, and that just sounds off. In here, the intensity is incredible. I love this. I'm pretty sure this is not a AAA game, right? Just even for 2004, I'm pretty sure this is not a AAA game. But I like all the RPG element of it, how your choices affect most of the things, and yeah. You know what fucked up thing about it is, I'm afraid of the more RPG games going forward, massive games, right? Like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, because in certain way, like Far Cry 4, right? Far Cry 5. Feels more RPG than Fallout 4 because of the choices. Because in those games there are hidden endings that you can just choose not to play the game and fight. And as soon as the game starts, in 20 minutes game will be finished too. I mean, how much choices can you have? Like, okay, if you capture me, right? My all the father in Far Cry 5. If you capture me, there's going to be problems and things like that. All right, fuck it, I want to capture you. There you go, game over. End credits. That is incredible. So this is awesome seeing something like this, that so many different elements, so many different styles, so many different characters, and so many different choices that can cause different type of endings and shit.
No more Yankee my wanky. The finger need food.
Through most of the game, you're given tasks to complete by LaCroix. These serve as the main quest line, and you'll need to finish them to progress the story and unlock new locations. You'll get to meet the other major powers in LA as well. There's the Camarilla, which uphold the status quo and enforce the Masquerade religiously, Anarchs, who respect the Masquerade but hate the politics and hierarchy of the Camarilla, the Sabbat, who don't give a shit about the Masquerade and seek dominion over mankind, and finally, there's the Kuei Jin, Asian vampires that have recently moved into Chinatown and filled it with gacha machines. They use the negative chi formed by gambling, organized crime, and gacha balls to fuel their aggressive business practices. Besides the main story, there's dozens of side missions to complete. None of these are your standard fetch quests either. They force you to think and decide for yourself how to best approach them. Completing missions is important, since that's your only way of getting the experience points necessary for upgrading your character. Most of them can be resolved peacefully by talking or stalking. Some of them, however, cannot. And whether it's from other vampires or the same dude in a wife beater copy-pasted 200 times, violence is inevitable. So building your character to be a smooth-talking, anemic slug might not be the best idea. There's a lot of nightclubs in this game, by the way. They're a good place to feed. They've also got some pretty good music. You can also dance. Even outside, there's some very nice ambience to fit the mood. It makes you feel like you're actually there. This game taught me that Santa Monica is a shithole, so don't feel bad about the people you kill there. In a way, you're saving them from the pain of living in Santa Monica. Bloodlines controls quite simply. You play it in first person while interacting with objects and NPCs, and you pan out to third person whenever you're in combat. Combat can be enjoyable, but mostly it is not enjoyable. Combat boils down to mashing left click while desperately scrolling with your mouse wheel and smashing right click to reactivate blood buff. Oh yeah, every clan's got vampire superpowers or disciplines unique to their bloodline. Many of these cost a lot of blood to use, but they're visually impressive, they can end fights instantly, and they break the monotony of endless button mashing while hoping and praying that your enemy's life bar is smaller than your own. You could use guns instead, but unless you've invested skill points into firearms, you might be dead by the time you take a shot. Outside of combat, you'll be doing everything from investigating serial murders to evicting unfriendly spirits out of hotels. The Ocean House Hotel is there to remind you that just because you're a spooky bloodsucker doesn't mean you're not capable of terror. The Ocean House is so infamous that it's got its own console command to skip the entire sequence. It's probably one of the best horror segments I've ever seen in a game, and they managed to do it without a single jump jump scare, just a feeling of pure condensed dread. Your inventory.
I hate jump scares. Holy shit, I hate jump scares. So whenever somebody does some horror thing right without any jump scares, like create an environment that has this spooky feeling, right? Even if you know this is just a game, you're still spooked. Not everyone can achieve that, but I have played certain games that had that element. So this was fucking incredible. So basically ghost like, oh, you're a vampire, I'm a fucking ghost. Yeah, let's see how you cope with me.
Is conveniently infinite, so you never have to worry about space. You'll pick up useful items like blood bags and firepower, and less useful items like birth control and estrogen pills. This game's difficult, and there's a few frustrating points in the story that might make you quit.
Damn.
Point number 1. Hollywood sewers. At some point in the story, you have to find the Nosferatu, as they've gone into hiding for reasons unknown. This has nothing to do with a 3 billion Tsamisi flesh puppets clogging up every sewer drain, and you're gonna have to fight them all, including this big bitch who throws spare ribs at you. Also, there's no blood down in the sewers, so I hope you...
Oh my god, this game is incredible. How many elements are there? This feels like, close to Witcher 3 than anything. Not the storyline, but how the gameplay mechanics are. I mean, all the dialogues and shit, you can go to clubs, you can resolve issue with talking and shit, right? All the different dialogues, all the different builds, not to mention the monster hunting type of thing that you can just do here, right? Big ass monster that throws ribs at you and everything. The details are incredible, and all the builds that you can play.
Brought an entire fridge supply of blood with you. Good luck. Luckily, the unofficial patch fixes this completely. The good old games copy comes with a patch pre-installed, so you can take a convenient shortcut and save yourself the pain of going through this programmed hell. Point number 2. Werewolf Park. In this universe, werewolves are incredibly rare, but they're also invincible killing machines. In fact, you can't fight this puppy at all. It's immune to damage and can stun lock you to death in several swipes. This all happens in a span of 5 seconds, so most players never even get the chance to understand what the fuck is going on before they meet their final death. Again, and again. Even though it kills you in 5...
Yeah, in the lore of, I guess, lore? Not lore. In the mythology of werewolves and, I guess, vampires, there's always a mixed things, right? Certain people shows vampires to be more powerful because how vampire is more like, I guess, wearing suits, drinking... Wait a second. So yeah, vampires are more like, suit wearing, smooth talking, like how that thing was, am I scaring you? And, just, drinking some kind of martini or something. It always has this kind of a, gentleman vibe to it. So people like that shit. So sometimes certain people shows vampire being more powerful than the werewolves. Werewolves only showing that the only way they're powerful is running in a pack or something. Sometimes people show just like here, like vampires are can be a mixed breed. Right? There can be higher vampires which are kind of pure-blooded, and there are lesser vampires whose blood is not pure, obviously. And they can be weaker, and werewolves, just because they are animalistic, they are just stronger than vampires. Just like how they show it here, and they're rarer.
5 seconds, you're expected to survive for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I like the, werewolf thing, that werewolves are more stronger. Because vampires are vampires, whenever they want, right? Werewolves, they have to turn into a fucking wolf. Right, it's like, turning off on a switch, so they can't be werewolf all the time. So when they turn on the switch, become a werewolf, they are way too animalistic and, dangerous. Also, they don't have full control, so they kind of balance things out.
Oh, and forget about regenerating your health. Werewolf claws burn through your flesh, so it can't be healed back. However, after years of dying to that same werewolf, I found out you can actually kill it. What the hell? How was I supposed to know that you're actually meant to run into the observatory, flick the circuit breaker outside, run back in, open the dome, lure it into the dome, and crush it to death? How the hell was I supposed to know that? The answer is, I didn't. I had to look it up on the wiki. After years of suffering through the same mission each playthrough,
oh my god, that's an
oddly satisfying. However, if you can endure...
I love this shit. So there are people who basically just went over there trying to kill that werewolf over and over again hundreds of times before they just, I guess, walked around thinking, what happens if I flick this switch? Die again. What happens if I flick this switch and flick another one? And just rinse and repeat over and over before the wolf dies like that.
Past those rough patches in the story, you'll start piecing together what's going on. The concern and focus of every major faction in LA is in one way or another centered on the arrival of a certain archaeological treasure, the Ankaran sarcophagus, which throughout the game has a bad habit of getting stolen. What's inside? Who knows? An old Assyrian king or a slumbering antediluvian, one of the oldest granddaddy vampires out there, who, if you traced your blood far back enough, might be one of your original fathers. Half a city believes the latter. They also believe that the moment Father Dearest wakes up from his slumber, he's gonna be hungry. Real hungry, and he'll sate that hunger by feasting on his children. Wherever we go, it is the blood of Cain which makes our fate. Your fate and the fate of the Ankaran sarcophagus are inescapably intertwined. Will you open up the sarcophagus or seal it away for all eternity? That choice is up to you. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, a very unique, flawed, and fantastic diamond of a game. Terrible
Seriously.
combat, 0 out of 10. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. I'm just fucking with you. 10 out of 10. One of my favorite and one of the most replayable RPGs of all time. There's very few games out there that keep pulling you back over and over again and still manage to make each playthrough different, and this is one of them. Go buy it. Go play it. You won't regret it. Get sucked into the atmosphere. Get a craving addiction for it and replay it every few years for the rest of your natural life, because there's nothing quite like it. A warm thanks to the many
The Merchants Guild. Holy shit, I wish I knew this game, I guess, 11, 12 years ago, around 2007, 2008, right? When I played Fallout 3, around that time I was looking for RPGs. I don't know why I didn't come across this. I wished I knew it then, because games looks incredible. All the details about it, all the options you can choose, the monster hunting, the werewolf hunting, that you have to choose certain things and trap him in a door. It's an actual animation. Game doesn't even tell you that. You have to figure that shit out. And all the different type of things you can do. The voice acting is awesome too. I like how you can walk around just like Nosferatu type of thing, right? With a hideous face. Everybody, that woman behind the, I guess, counter just basically fainted or maybe had a heart attack or something. That was just awesome. So that is the first thing I would do. And also that, who was that? Has certain kind of psychological issue type of thing, who talks to the television and gives people weird kind of commands that they just, basically, go berserk or something. That's incredible too. That's similar to that New Vegas thing, like I said, trade thing. Right, people, that was Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines review by the channel ssethtzeentach. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction, there's a link in the description. Check out the cards, check out the cards, and yeah, I'll see you next time.